Ain't nobody got time for that.
Objection!
Before we actually get into it, I just want to say if you're in my math class and you're watching this video right now, then you suck. So anyway, hey, what's up guys? It is Ace3rd and thank you so much for watching. And today I'm going to bring you guys this awesome overused battle that I had against one of my friends. I don't know because it was some guy on Hamachi. So this team was pretty awesome and this battle was pretty awesome. But before we actually get into it, we're going to start with that question. Today that question is, what is your favorite ability? Now there are abilities all over the place in Pokemon, but out of all of them, mine probably had to be Serene Grace, because Serene Grace I do believe is really game changing. I can utilize it very well and everything about it is just pretty cool. So be sure to tell me what your guys' favorite ability is in the comments below. So if we look at this team, I'm not going to go too much into it in terms of everything, and especially in synergy and everything, because I have a chart to show you guys. So this chart, I'm probably going to be doing this for like all my teams and all my videos, unless you guys don't like that. If you don't, please put a comment, but I like the idea. So anyway, if you look at this chart right here, you see that every type is resisted on my team, which is pretty beneficial. The most important types in Pokemon to, well, especially in 3rd generation, to be aware of are electric and ground and water, and there's only a couple of them that you really had to be aware of, but all of those are really covered. The most important thing on my team that has the most resistances, of course, is Skarmory, but Houndoom has some pretty good ones too, and so does Flygon. So those things need to be alive in order for my team to prosper. So if you look at this next chart, this chart shows all of my Pokemon stats combined into one average. So if you can see that this team is mainly based around HP, you see that it's kind of into defensive too, but mainly into attack also. The speed is kind of an issue, but it doesn't really matter because it's compensated by the amount of HP that my Pokemon have. So I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. It was pretty awesome. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of the battle because I have something cool to say. So please enjoy this video and let's go. Let me tell you guys what happened. So I'm sitting there in math class, right? And here comes this bitch. Oh my god, have you seen Amari's YouTube channel yet? So my math teacher searches it, right? And then she puts it on the smartboard. And then everybody in the class is laughing like it's the funniest shit they've ever seen in their whole entire life, right? And I'm sitting there like, okay, great. It's okay, guys. You know, fuck you. And I'm sitting here getting all this money with the YouTube partnership and you're not. So GG, I win. Goodbye. So anyway, he leads off with his Jolteon. I lead off my Snorlax and immediately I just go for a body slam because I predicted him to go for a substitute, which most Jolteons usually do. So at this point he just hard switches out into his Salamence, which gives me some vital information because he didn't go for Baton Pass. Either he's stupid or he doesn't have Baton Pass, so that's really great information. So as I go for this body slam, it does kind of a lot to be intimidated, but I get the paralyzation on his Salamence, which sucks a lot because many Salamences usually have Dragon Net. So I go out into my Skarmory, I get a crit. I mean, he gets a crit on his Hit Power Flying. I kind of don't care about it because I'm really defensive and everything, and it's okay. He goes out into his Blissey at this point. I don't care because I go for his spikes on the switch and everything, and he thinks everything's all good and it's all great, right? And I'm like, no, it's not. So I'm gonna go for a taunt, preventing him from going for aromatherapy in the first place. So now he's going to either have to be forced to go for an Ice Beam or a Seismic Toss or something, or he's gonna have to switch out. So at this point, I switch out into my Snorlax at this point. So why'd you do that, Ace? Because I predicted him to go out into something that would try to take out my Skarmory, and it just happens to be a Magneton. So I'm sitting there like, hell yeah, I made that great-ass prediction, and it's just great. So anyway, he goes out into his Gengar because he knows that Gengar can either take a normal move or a ground move, and so he takes it pretty nicely because he takes no damage, and so he goes for a Thunderbolt and everything, and I was scared of Will-O-Wisp, so that's why I went out into my Bumblebee. Now, this is pretty awesome because I can switch out into my Houndoom at this point, right? Because I was either predicting him to go for a Fire Punch or an Ice Punch. He just goes for Fire Punch, which is awesome for me. And now at this point, I go for a Pursuit on that bitch because it's like, hell no, you're not getting away this time. Nope. So now he gets taken out. I'm not really too worried about Gengar anymore because it's dead. So anyway, he goes onto his Blissey at this point. I don't really care too much about Blissey. I know it's about to go for an aromatherapy, but there's nothing I can do about that. So I go for a Fire Blast, hoping I can get a lot of damage on this thing. And I really do. For a especially defensive Pokemon like a Blissey, that is a lot of damage. So he goes for this aromatherapy. I really don't care too much about it because it was kind of obvious, and I can just try to paralyze his Salamence again. So it switches out into his Hearts, which is his Milotic. Sorry. And this thing takes a lot of damage from this Fire Blast, not because he doesn't have a lot of special defense, but because I got a critical hit, which matters very much. So now that this my low tick has a low amount of health. He predicted me to go for Hidden Power Grass, which is why he tried to switch out into his Blissey, but I go for Pursuit because I'm not stupid, and now, unless he has a Rapid Spinner, his Milotic will eventually die to Spikes damage as soon as it's switched in. So now I don't have to worry about it too much anymore. So now I switch out into my Skarmory because I know that this little Blissey was going to come in here, and I just didn't worry about it too much, and I just go for a Spikes, not really being aware of the fact that he had Magneton, and then I got predicted. It's fine. It's okay. I'm not even mad. So now I got another layer of Spikes up. It's pretty awesome for me now. And at this point, he makes a kind of questionably stupid play, and he goes for a Substitute, right? And I'm like, oh great, now you're gonna have a safe. You know, once I switch out into something, you're gonna be safe, right? But that's not the thing. The thing is, I'm able to go for that last layer of Spikes, and taking 25% damage is not a joke. So now he's just going to take me out, and I'm like, okay, you could have did that earlier, but I mean, when you think about it, now, the only Pokemon I see on his team that is actually grounded, I mean, that's not grounded, is the Salamence right here. And if I take it out, everything's going to be dying to Spikes damage. So I have to be aware of that, and then I can utilize that information to my advantage. So I switch out as he goes out into his Salamence. I'm intimidated. I can't really do much. So he predicts my switch and goes out. I'm sorry, and goes for a Dragon Dance. I don't care too much about Dragon Dance because I am a defensive Vaporeon, which they mostly all should be. And so I go for an Ice, I go for a Hydro Pump, predicting his switch out into Magneton because I know that he did not want to take an Ice Beam. So he gets taken out indefinitely because that is a lot of base power onto that Magneton, and Magneton isn't very defensive. So he goes out into his Jolteon at this point. I predicted the Substitute, so that's why I stayed in, and I go for a Ice Beam. And I do predict correctly, and I don't have to worry about it too much anymore because now he has that lower health, and he cannot switch in too many times now without taking ridiculous damage from the Spikes and then eventually dying. So now I switch out into my Fortissimo because I know that a Thunderbolt was coming. That is the best thing on my team that could take a Thunderbolt besides Flygon, but you know, most Jolteons usually have Hidden Power Ice, so I'm not going to be risking that. So anyway, I do take a bit of damage. I mean, not too much considering the fact that I have a lot of health anyway. So anyway, I go out into my Flygon as he goes out into his Salamence. I don't really care too much. I kind of predicted this, but it was whatever. So I go for a Rock Slide at this point, I do believe, but he goes out into his Milotic and he takes himself out due to the to the Spikes, which is pretty awesome because now it's kind of like he did that just to see that I was going to go for a Rock Slide, and then he was going to switch out into his Jolteon and then go for a Hidden Power Ice, right? But he predicts that really nicely, and then goes for a Thunderbolt into my switch into Snorlax, which is okay, which was, I mean, that was awesome predicting right there, but it's okay because, I mean, I don't really take all that damage. I mean, I don't have any way to heal myself, but I do have Self-Destruct, I mean, which kind of compensates for it. So anyway, he goes on to his Salamence again. I'm not going to go for an Earthquake because that's pointless. He has such a low amount of health, and Jolteon has really low defense, so a Body Slam could have did just exactly the same thing. He switches out into it, and he gets paralyzed once more. Now I have to, like, be aware of the fact that his Blissey could come in later on, and it's just whatever. So he gets fully paralyzed. I predicted him to go for a Hidden Power Flying, but it's whatever. So anyway, he stays in, I guess, and he gets Rock Slided. I don't know whether or not he was predicting me to predict his switch or whatever, but I mean, I guess it was kind of okay because he didn't want his Jolteon to get taken out or anything. He didn't want his Blissey to take any physical damage, and I guess that's just how it was working out. So anyway, he goes on to his Jolteon once more. He predicts my switch pretty nicely right here, and then he goes for a Thunderbolt, right? And I'm sitting there like, okay, bitch, you made an awesome play, good for you, high five, you know, but, I mean, he doesn't even take me out. I have a 95 base special defensive stat, which is probably why, and it's just great for me because now I can stay in and not have to worry about, stay alive and not have to worry about, you know, this thing or things like Blissey. So I go out into Hair Gel once more, predicting this thingy to go for a Thunderbolt, and then I go for a Choice Band, a Quick Attack, which will indefinitely take out Jolteon with his 55 base defensive stat. So he goes out into his Blissey now, right? I don't really care too much about Blissey, so at this point, it's about to be a 5 or a 6-0. I'm not sure how many Pokemon I have. I do believe it's a 6-0. Now I'm just going to be going for Calm Minds at this point, just to see whether or not my Houndoom can, you know, 2H KO this thing. I know it can't OH KO it because, you know, Blissey has a lot of special defense, but it also has a lot of HP, and it's just whatever. So now at this point, it's just going to be me going for Calm Minds over and over and over and over again, and then the top passing out to Houndoom. So yeah, so what's been happening? Besides everyone knowing about my YouTube channel, and everyone's being a little bitch and then using it against me because apparently that's something that's embarrassing. Oh wow, you upload videos on YouTube, you're a nerd or something. But it's like, I mean, the fact that you're not, and the fact that I'm getting money and you're still sitting at home going out and doing whatever you do, or not even going out, I guess staying home doing homework or whatever you do, and I'm not. I mean, I guess I don't suck like you. So anyway, yeah, now I'm at my last calm mine. Now I can baton pass out, not necessarily safely, I guess, but you know, baton pass out into my Houndoom, which is pretty awesome because Executive X is pretty awesome. So now I don't have to worry about this thing too much because I know I can go and survive at least 2 more seismic tosses, I'm sorry, 3 more seismic tosses, and then try to be taking this thing out. So I go for the first Fire Blast, right? And it does, look at all this damage. Oh my god, that is like a ridiculous amount of damage for a special attacking move on a Blissey, right? And I'm like, yeah, good thing. I'm going to be taking this thing out in like 2 turns. Or yeah, good for me, right? So yeah, it's pretty awesome now, right? Nothing to worry about. I mean, it's all good. So GG, nope, because I missed. So he goes for a Seismic Toss, right? And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can just go for a Fire Blast again next turn because it's okay, and then switch out into something else, right? Yeah, good for me, because you ain't got shit on this bitch. So he missed. I don't know, like it's a fat ass pink thing, and I missed again. So I get taken out due to a Seismic Toss, which is just fine, I guess. So I can just go on to my Fortissimo and then go for a self-destruct as he goes for a seismic toss. Now he goes for a soft build. I have to go for a self-destruct. Its stab is 300 base power, I do believe, after stab factoring in, and then with the halving of his defense, which is how 3rd gen mechanics work, I can definitely take out this Blissey. So I don't have to worry about that thing anymore. That's his last Pokemon. GG. Guy on Hamachi. So anyway, that was a great battle, guys. I mean, you know, besides the fact that I got mad, and I actually, you know what, I'm not even mad. Besides the fact that it took so long, it was a really great battle. So be sure to like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, comment if you were cool, subscribe if you haven't, share if you have the balls, and favorite if you are fortress. I mean, so far, nothing's really been happening. You might see a video on Pokemon Mosh Pit at some point, I don't know. There's been drama, but I'm not going to go into that unless you ask. And I mean, nothing else. I mean, SAT, Drumline, lots more weeks of Drumline apparently, so I still have more of that to do. So I'll try to be uploading as often as I can, but if I can't, then I'm sorry, but you guys will know the reason why. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle after all my stuttering and all my mess ups and everything. I hope you didn't hate me, and I hope you didn't unsubscribe. Oh yeah, speaking of that, I have 600 subscribers right now, which is awesome. I mean, I could do a special, but I didn't do one for 400 or for 300, I don't think. For some reason, my subscriber rate has been going up very high recently. I have to really thank you guys so much for that. I mean, I think I thank you guys too much or not enough, I don't know. But I say that a lot. I really do appreciate that, you guys. I mean, you guys have either been sharing my videos or people have been finding out about them or something, but you guys have been really loyal, and I'm really grateful for it, and I really hope you guys can understand that you are the reason why I'm here. And I'm not going to get into that because I don't feel like it, because it's too much. You can go watch my my other video showcases that. So, and eventually I forgot about my outro and it sucks, so I'm going to put it in here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and everything, and goodbye.